Hi everyone, you're with Lucy again, and you might have watched my previous video on doing jelly plate prints. So in our jelly plate print tutorial, I showed you how to do transfers from magazine photos to a piece of paper using the jelly plate technique. So if you've watched that, and if you haven't watched it, please have a look. So in this particular video, I promise that I do something with these prints because, you know, it's nice to actually do the prints, but we actually want to do something with it. Now, I really, really like this one, which has got the grass and everything in it, and I'm going to do a bit of tearing with that one. I'm also going to put her in this one, I think, and perhaps a cottage, although I'm not sure about the cottage or that first. So I want to do quite a simple page. So what I'm going to do is do some background work first. And I have some music, which I particularly like. And this is also a jelly print background that I have. So what I'm going to do first is do some tearing. And I'm going to stick down some strips of this first. Now, I don't use glue. I use Liquitex matte medium to stick my elements down. So I'll tear these first and then I'll start the sticking down. Now, I'd love you to join me in my group where I do live videos with Jolene Payne in live art journaling and self-development. So we're a Facebook group where we do 2 live videos a day, and 2 live videos a week, sorry, a day would be a lot, and it's just a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. It's a very supportive community. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is put down the matte medium where I want these bits to be stuck. So I'm going to be sticking quite a few things down, and the matte medium I put underneath and on top. And why I use matte medium rather than gloss is because if I want to do colouring or anything like that over the top, it works out fine. So the first thing I'm doing here is just gluing bits and pieces together to create a background for my collage. And I kind of like this because it looks a little bit like old paint. So rather than putting everything all the same way, I'm going to put 2 strips this way. Now I go across pages, and in this case I haven't gessoed the page, I'm just working straight onto the bare page. And this medium will also give it some extra body. I'm just making that a little bit shorter. Okay, now I also have some music. I love old music to use in some of my work. So a little bit more medium. I'm going to just overlap that a little bit. So the fun of this is what we're really doing here is getting rid of white space, because white space can be one of the most daunting things when you're doing art journaling. So this part here, I don't even want you to think too hard about what you're putting where. I'll just start putting bits and pieces down. And there is no right or wrong way. You might look at this and go, I wouldn't have done it like that, but that's why we've got so many pages in a book, because next time we can do it again a different way. So I'm actually going to put that bit up a bit higher, and rather than wasting these, I might put that one there. And perhaps that one there. So that's just given me something other than a white background. Okay, And so now I'm also going to add a little bit of colour to that background. And I think I'm going to keep with earthy colours with this one. And this is a Dilutions paint. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some of that also in the background. It's kind of a khaki kind of green, but it does look quite interesting. And I'm just going to do something with that. I'm going to take a baby wipe and I'm going to wipe away some of the paint so I end up still seeing the music through. And I'm going to do a bit over here of the same thing. So whatever you do somewhere else as well. So don't ever just do one thing, especially if it's a 2-page spread like this. So you can see, and just to finish it off, I might put some here. Now remember, this is paper, and if you put down a colour and you think, I really don't like that, you can just gesso over the top of the whole thing and start again. So we don't need any more of that green. Okay, I'm just going to take my heat gun and dry it off a little. So now, if you are an art journaler, it is definitely worth getting yourself a heat tool to dry things off. Now I'm going to do some copper here, because I'm one of those people who love copper, and I'm going to do some copper. The copper's a little transparent, so I'm going to do sort of like some dry brushing. I don't want to cover all this blue because that kind of gives a verdigris. So when we see this colour through here, it almost looks like that verdigris that we get when copper starts to age. So now, can I say I just did that perfectly by accident then. I hadn't planned that. So I'm just putting the copper down as the base coat for this, but leaving that lovely verdigris. Okay, now that's kind of looking quite messy, but it's ready to put some of our images on. So I've also got this tissue. These are tissues. Now I know that they probably don't look the right colour for here, but they're just lovely tissues that I bought in England. And if you grab the very top layer, there's actually 4 layers. If you grab the very top layer, so I'm just going to put a little bit, I haven't even let it dry really, and I'm just going to put some of these down, just making sure that it is. And that this is taking on the darker colour. It's giving texture, and it's also giving a bit of design. So whenever I travel, I collect lots of bits of tissue paper and things like that, because I find, especially if you rip it up, it makes really good design elements. And because we've got that sort of theme with the guy and the bird and that, I'll just add some of these in. And you see, I never just put it in one place. I'll take it rhythmically. Might even put one up there. And this one here, I'll just put a little bit down low. I like things to run off pages as well. Okay. And now let's have a look at this picture. Now he looks great. I almost don't want to rip all the way around, but I do want a torn photo edge. I do want that writing off though, so I'm going to tear. If the writing was lovely, I would leave it on, but in this case, I want to tear it off. Now let me have a look at the girl. I want it to be, I'm going to actually create a story around this. So I'm going to put him here. Probably going to do some writing there, I think. And then I'm going to have something about her waiting here. So I'm going to stick this down. Now there's, well, I could probably just stick this down with the Liquitex. Now I'm very much here working wet on wet, which is fine, but if you can allow it to dry between layers a little bit, it is a good idea. So now I'm doing the matte medium over the top of this picture as well, and that just protects it. Oops, don't want the colour. I'm really loving that particular picture. Now let's do the same with her. We don't need the words. Tearing it out. I'm doing that one quite roughly. A little bit of okay, so because my paint's still wet, you can see there's like that green halo, but I'm not going to try to get rid of that. But I'm not going to go over her face. So that is pretty much all I can do until this dries. So I will wait a moment and I might do a speed thing of finishing it off. So I hope you enjoyed this and watch the final bit. Again, it's Lucy and I'm part of Live Art Journaling and Self-Development, and I'd love you to join our group and learn more about art journaling. Thanks very much. Bye.